Howdy y'all, Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee, and today on the Hermitcraft server, I'm going to be doing some more work around the death house. Yesterday, I made a big list of all the stuff that I need to do, and unfortunately, that's the fun part. Now I gotta actually do it. And I know that I'm not the only one working through task lists today, because a lot of folks are busy preparing for Hurricane Irma, which is on its way through Puerto Rico today, past Antigua earlier. It's looking like it's going to be a rough one. So, hopefully you guys out there in Florida, Puerto Rico, Antigua, etc. are all staying safe. And those of you who are still ahead of the storm, if it's still coming toward you, I hope you are taking every precaution and every opportunity to prepare. You know, the federal government has a lot of guidelines out there for, like, what sort of stuff that you should have, you know, on hand. But, you know, I'm just going to list a few of them. So, in case, you know, you're like, no, I don't need to go see what the federal government says. You know, maybe I'll remind you of something, and then you'll go, oh, maybe I will look. Just in case, you know. One thing they're recommending is 1 gallon of water per person per day, just for drinking, with the expectation you might not have clean water for 14 days. So that's like, if you have 14 gallons of water for you, then 14 for your loved ones, you know, that could be a lot. That could be 28, even if you just have one kid, single parent, or, you know, 56 if you're a family of 4. If you have that 2.5 kids or 1.8 or whatever the ratio is today, you know, it might be a less even number, but you need to think about how much you're going to have to get together. Now, some of that might be in drinkable Dasani bottles. Some of that can just be in, like, just milk jug type bottles. It doesn't have to be fancy, it just has to be potable, it has to be drinkable, and you're going to want to make sure to stay ahead of that. That's pretty logical, though. You're like, oh, I already knew the power was going to be out for 14 days, water plant would be shut down. You know, I knew that, I wasn't dependent on that. Well, here's something to keep in mind, too. There is also about 1 gallon of water you're going to want per day per person for things like cleaning or preparing food or things like that. That is not necessarily drinking water, but just water that you still need to have. And they're recommending, once again, an additional gallon per day. So that's 28 gallons per day per person. You're going to be filling your house with water, and I'm sure you're like, Joe, the hurricane will fill my house with water for me. It might, and I'm sorry to hear that, but that water will not be drinkable. Like any of that flood water you see out in the streets, you do not want to have anywhere near your mouth. Anyway, wow, I didn't realize how many of these cattle had already been harvested. So we're going to need to make sure to breed these aggressively, you know, because it's no good running out of food. So once again, you guys probably don't want to run out of food either. You're going to want to have stuff that is non-perishable. Like a bunch of frozen pizzas might be great for, you know, when you got your friends coming over to play Dance Dance Revolution or what have you. But for a hurricane, those frozen pizzas are going to go bad really quick. Also, stuff you have to cook in the oven is hard to cook on a camp stove traditionally. So you're going to want to try to have some stuff that you can easily cook on a propane camp stove. You're going to have some stuff that doesn't need to be cooked at all, like granola, sandwiches, that sort of thing. Just stuff that'll stay good and that won't be a real problem. Now, you know, once again, and these are the real absolute basics, you know. Now, you're going to have a plan if you are going to be cooking food with a propane stove. Where are you going to cook it? Outdoors? That sort of thing. You know, they're saying Puerto Rico might not have power for 4 to 6 months after this. This is an insane storm. This is not a regular hurricane. I've lived through a few hurricanes when I was in Florida as a kid, and it is not quite the same as what we're looking at here. Like, these were much smaller storms. And this one's a big one. Now, we might get lucky, it might avoid you, but, you know, worst case, you got some extra water to keep in the car in case you go hiking or something. That's fine. Not the end of the world. Plus, there's a whole hurricane season. So even if this storm misses you, maybe the next one won't, you know? I'm not saying that, like, hey, hope you get to use this water, but like, hey, it might be good to have this water. So, anyway, you guys can go online. FEMA and other people who put a lot of time and thought and effort into hurricane preparation have way more better resources out there than what you can get from me, Joe Hills, a guy who is feeding video game cows video game wheat under a video game vampire castle that is built on deceit. I mean, this is... I'm the wrong guy to ask for this. That's my whole point. There is somebody smarter than me. In fact, there's an entire staff of somebody smarter than me, more experienced than me with hurricanes, working on these problems. You should go find out what they're saying and make decisions for yourself, because there are going to be a lot of decisions to be made in the next few days, and you will want every resource you have available to you. So, anyway, dang it. I thought I was going to make that jump this time. Okay, so I've harvested some more leather here. We're going to want to make a whole bunch of books for the libraries, both of Castle Ravenloft and, more imminently, of the Death House. Plus, I know that I'm going to need steak to keep me fed while I run around trying to find, what do you call those animals, the sheep? Yeah, I got to find sheep. As you can see, the sheep seem to have clustered in this area at the edge of the loaded chunks. So, it makes it easier to harvest them all at once, I guess, which is nice, but it's kind of a weird place for them, because normally you don't think of sheep and go like, oh yeah, I bet they'll climb up to that hill there, you know, at the edge of the loaded chunks. But they do! Good job, sheep. Go find some grass so that you don't, you know, never regrow your wool. Now, in the interest of constructing a really creepy shrine thing, I think that what I probably want to do is gather a bunch of these squid heads and, you know, use them for the creepy shrine. Although, I probably should take the ones that I've got over here instead of the ones that I have, like, built into the squidthers. You know, no sense ruining something. Okay. There we go. It will be a suit of plate armor. Here you go. So you come up the stairs here, and there's a suit of plate armor. Okay, and then we will have... Let's go ahead and run down to the basement now and drop off our creepy heads for the shrine. Dang it, additional heads. You are not supposed to be creeping out people in the hallway up here. You go down in the basement. No, that's a closet. Dang it. Really thought that I had figured this out. Okay, well this is clearly an area where we need some more bricks as well. Just little details here and there left to be done. Let's put a torch in. That seems to me like this needs to be a torchier chamber. So we get a little torching going on here. How did I even get in here? Okay, I think maybe I need to go down a level. Oh, that's right. And then I can rejoin that spiral staircase shaft. Oh, because I ran out of purple before I finished the master bedroom. So we're going to need purple stuff too. Making a note of that. Alright, excellent. So for this weird shrine area here, I figure we can put in some of these various skulls. Like that. That looks pretty crazy. And, oh, here's a cow head. And squid head. And maybe one of them will have like a suit of armor with something on it. Like golden boots. That sort of thing. And then I've got like a bunch more squid cow heads. Which is maybe not optimal, but I don't know. Kind of got a little bit done. It's better than it was. Okay, so a little bit more detail work. There's going to be a double door coming into the study here. And then we'll start having just like huge piles of books kind of along here. Books here and books here. Oops, out of books. Next problem. It feels like there's no limit to the amount of detail work left to be done on our death house, but what I figure I'll do next is swing by here and grab some quartz out of our Ravenloft tower where I have deposited it in hopes of possibly... Whoa, let's not smash into the ground here. In hopes of possibly creating a better dining room table. Because I was thinking about all the different materials I could use, and one of the big problems with using any sort of wood for the dining room table is that it's gonna look like, even if I put a tablecloth on it, I can't then put stuff on top of the tablecloth, like candles. So if I got some quartz stairs and some quartz slabs, I think that I could actually make a pretty good dining room table that would look nice in the space provided. Now also, while I'm here, if I can grab some additional dark oak for dark oak doors, I'm going to need dark oak for days for doors. So I figure what we'll do with this table to get it started is we'll kind of set it up with the legs out here and out here maybe? Maybe one further down. See, that already looks somewhat table-like, but true stability, you know, really comes from a feeling of kind of overness. It's not just a rock lying on the ground, it's a rock suspended over the ground by legs. So now we have kind of some, you know, legs here. We have the top of the table, also known as the tabletop for those of you involved in the gaming community. But then we can take maybe these oak wood planks and make some chairs. Kind of dubious about using oak for this. Let's just see how it looks. Acacia might be a little bit better suited. Well, I don't know. That definitely... it conveys chair well enough. And once again, in the interest of time at this point, we kind of cannot be choosers or beggars. We're just doers. Doers can't be choosers. So, boom, dining room table. If anyone asks what room this is now, we can say the dining room. And you know what? We could even go ahead and put, I don't know, some spruce wood over here as like a cabinet that they serve things off of. Bam. So we've got three types of wood in this room. We've got 2 types of clashing wallpaper. We've got all sorts of stuff, but I think it looks good. So that's all I care about. Good enough. So when the players come in here, they're going to be entering probably through this entrance. Although, there is nothing stopping them from coming in through the kitchen entrance, too. I mean, if they want to pretend they're the help. Although they are there to help. So that might be appropriate. So, boom. Dining room. Working as planned. Let's go on to our next thing. Do beds stack these days? I don't even know. Oops. Ah, hey, I have extra jungle wood in here. I forgot that I had jungle wood in my bean farm, which is not the best way to harvest jungle wood. Ideally, you want to harvest it from trees, but you know what? Given the scarcity of jungle wood and the need for it imminently or immediately in my thing, I'm thinking that maybe I'm going to retire parts of my farm here in the interest of, I don't know, we'll call it perspicacity, but really it's just laziness. So, boom. Lazy Joe, away. Oh, dang it. Should have been less lazy about my flight. Brown bed, what do you see? I see the servants' quarters looking at me. Boom. Additional beds. There we go. This is actually bigger, I think, than the servants' quarter is supposed to be in the book. But whatever, it's fine. And we can just give them some furniture, like a dresser or something right there, with a torch on top of it. That's their little lamp. Boop. Whoops. Wrong kind of lamp. There we go. That looks kind of like a dresser. Well, these doors up here were too fancy, so I ripped them out. Put in the spruce doors, looking a lot better. Look at this. This is an ugly, horrible, terrible spare room, you know? Look at this. This is a great place to shove furniture. Although, I think there's supposed to be a furnace in here, too. So we'll just put that there. Like, not being used for anything, but, you know, the idea is that in theory they might want heat here at some point. Now, also, with all that extra jungle wood I've got, I can come in here like so, and really kind of shore this up. Whoops. Did not mean to take out quite so much end stone here. Now, the obvious thing to do here is to have this just kind of meet the roof like so. And I'm not sure why that block would even be visible. We should probably have that going like this. You know, kind of having the whole thing just come together. This room should feel really big, but really small at the same time. So, very tall room, but not very usable in terms of the space. Underutilized might be a good way to describe it. Upper floor here, looking pretty good. Oh yeah, we're missing the glass panes that I need. That is something. And, oh, there's supposed to be a door here as well. That leads from the master bedroom onto a balcony. Which we can just kind of go in like that. And let me check. Do I have any more of those pieces of iron that are fancy? Yeah, iron bars. We're going to London Bridge this thing. Oh, yeah, there's supposed to be a little end table with some chairs in here. I figure that what I'll do for that is I will just go ahead and make one more set of these little chair stairs. Just stairs, if you will. And not to be confused with chest hairs. And we'll put a torch on it. Yay. Okay, so we got the big old bedroom. We still need to do some stuff with the fireplace here, as you can tell. Study is looking good, though we don't have a desk yet. I'm thinking acacia wood might solve a lot of my problems across the board. I might need to run back to spawn and get acacia wood. But I also really am in dire need of cobwebs. I'm totally short on cobwebs. So I'm thinking what I might do is just pretty much empty my inventory of everything I don't need right now at this exact moment, and then run underground and try to find some cobwebs, because those are going to be crucial to my long-term success in this endeavor. This whole house is supposed to be full of cobwebs. What is it currently devoid of more than anything else it's devoid of? Cobwebs. Alright, so with our inventory empty and our hearts full of hope, we are going to fly this way, because I remember seeing somebody dug some sort of weird stairs down to a ravine somewhere in my beach over here. And I remember kind of being like, what? Who did this? Who dug into my beach? That's not for you. But they did it anyway. Where was it? It was somewhere in the beach here. Dang it. It might have actually been me digging upward out of the beach when I was trapped in a ravine one time when I was really tired. So before you get too mad at anyone in particular, keep that in mind. I have literally no clue who did this. Ah, here it is. Mark that with a torch. So, in theory, this will hopefully lead us down to an area with cobwebs. Man, okay. Also, this is a terrible stairwell, which, you know, reinforces the belief that this might have been me doing this. But anyway, we can just dig our way down here. Then we get here, and then there's this, like, waterfall thing. And then a bunch of magma. Oh, and obsidian. Man, this is maybe a helpful place to be. So, yeah, I'm guessing somebody got caught in that ravine and then dug their way out using that waterfall just to get up. But I don't have any proof of that. I guess I can just drop straight down. That seems safe enough. You know, for Minecraft anyway. Probably some creepers and stuff around here, but all I really need is a thing full of cobwebs. So, you know, hey, spider spawners and mine shafts, where are you at? Well, this is definitely quite the expansive cave system, and I'm certainly feeling like there's no chance I'm ever going to find my way back out of it. So, there's also that. Let's see. You know, maybe I was a little bit too optimistic about my ability to quickly find cobwebs underground. It seems like anytime I go underground, I'm beset by baby spiders. Just absolutely lousy with them. And in this case, I'm wandering around underground. Oh, that was just literally the concept of darkness I freaked out at because of the high ceiling there. Dang it. Okay. So, no sign yet of any cobwebs. I have a feeling I'm actually starting to go in circles. Well, now I'm clearly not, because this is a dark area I've never been to. So I have a feeling I'm going in circles, but I'm not going in circles. Don't know if that's better or worse than actually... Okay, I remember coming through here. Let's try going back this way and down. Yeah, this looks like the area... Yeah, that's the area we came in through. So, once again, no sign of any cobwebs, no sign of any mines. Might want to use this to mine out some obsidian, but like, other than that, I think I'm pretty good here. Okay. See, there's a bad place to mine obsidian. We won't do that. Anyway, now that I'm back near the entrance, I might as well wander out of here. Dang it. Cobwebs, I will find you next time. Anyway. Until next time, cobwebs, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring.